So you clicked on this video because you, like many people out there, are interested in a gym baddie. Well, I am here to show you what to expect when approaching or admiring from afar a gym baddie. Now, I've been in the gym for 10 years plus now, so I've got my experience of observing and interacting with many gym baddies over the years. So take this with a grain of salt. These are my opinions and my observations, and I want to share it with you guys today. So here is your typical gym baddie, right? They come in many shapes and forms. I'm going to be making a general gym baddie right now. Pardon my drawing. I am not the best yet at it, but something like this. Now you can usually see them with some type of pump cover or athletes, whatever the choice of fit is trending. Now a lot of times gym baddies will be wearing whatever is current in the fitness space. So right now in 2025, you see a lot of people with oversized pants or oversized hoodies, pants, shirts, whatever, and sometimes you don't. It's a big mix. So whatever they wear, it's fine. You just see it, you see it, a gym baddie, right? So this is gonna be gym baddie. I'm gonna show you guys. All right, that is the baddie right there. She's looking pretty good. And this is gonna be you. We're gonna use this as an example. And now, whether you're a guy or a girl or whatever, and you want to obtain a gym baddie, all the rules are going to apply the same. It's going to apply exactly the same, but I'm just going to make this, just for simplicity's sake, this is you. So I'm going to give you a little top hat, right? So you got a little bit of swag there, a little bit of swag. We'll even give you a little bit of biceps, all right? Got a little bit of peaks, maybe some quads. Look at that. Perfect. Fantastic. So you want the gym baddie. Now, it's not just a straight shot to get a gym baddie, okay? So there's a lot of things to take in consideration with an approach, with how you even look at them, right? So just like a normal person, in this case, we're going to say it's a woman. A gym baddie can actually be a man or whatever, but we're gonna use a woman in this case. So let's say you're a male and you want a female gym baddie. What are you going to do? First, you are going to make eye contact. Eye contact is going to be the vital, most important part of this because you need to establish connection. See, this is arrows going to the eyes. If you do not establish connection, she is not going to know that you exist. All right, you're just gonna be another pawn in a sea of pawns on the chessboard, right? You need to make yourself stand out. That's the most important part. So number two, what we're going to do next here, and you can go about this in different ways. So if you're at the gym, if she's doing her set, if she's in the middle of a workout, you can tell she's really going hard. She's going balls to the wall. Don't say anything, right? Don't go up to them. Don't be like, hey, I saw you were looking pretty cute over there. They're probably not hearing anything you're saying because their ears are ringing from a freaking crazy set because they're gym freaking baddies, right? They work hard. They come to the gym to work hard. So wait till they're done with their set, no matter what they're doing, before you do any type of connection and approach. Plus, it'll make it a little bit easier and you'll make it look like you're just there doing your thing. You want to look natural when you're doing this. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to make it seem like your only objective at the gym is to get the baddie. You're there to grow yourself here. You are here to grow. So you're growing in many different ways. So you're growing with mass, right? If you're doing your workouts correctly, you're growing with connections here. And that can also mean buddies, right? So you don't necessarily have to go straight to the throat of the gym baddie. There's a subtle approach depending on the person, and you want to usually take that route if you see it necessary. Now, I'm trying to put my... If you see a gym baddie and if she's not feeling the vibes for you, you're gonna know it. You're gonna see a lot of this, little closing of the arms. You're gonna see a little bit of like eyes shooting around. You're gonna might even see a little bit of like one-word answers like, totally. No, enjoy your workout. If you're starting to get a little bit of that, you might be interrupting something. She might not be into you at that current exact moment. You might be even catching her at a bad time. So now don't count yourself out when that happens. Don't count yourself out. So you might have to go all the way around. You might have to go through a couple zigzags and loops and bounds before you can make that connection, right? Put a little heart here. because you want to give her your heart because you like her, right? We like people. We want to emotionally connect with them. So in this case, if we're going to go through all these leaps, bounds, and loops, right? You have to look at everything in a holistic sense, right? So you're at the gym, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of stimulus going on. You got geriatrics doing their water exercise aerobics if you have a pool at your gym, or you have like broccolis taking up all the space. Like, let's go. You could have powerlifters, the bodybuilders, the strongmen. There's so many things going on at once. You might not get it the first time around, and that's okay. The most important thing is that you stay consistent with it. So as soon as you're able to make that first connection, make contact, use simple vocal terms, right? Hello, how are you doing? What I'd like to do before, if I wanted to give a compliment, and I say this to guys too, people that I respect with a mask, I'd be like, hey, that was a 6 set. Do you compete? You can take that line from me. There's generally a good amount of people, if they're training serious in the gym, there might be a good amount of them that actually are considering it, or they might be competitors. So it's not a bad opener, and it's not too strong to come at them, right? It just opens it up. Now you step in. When you step in, you are now in the baddie zone. Once you make that connection, once she's opened up the world, she said something back, you've started the conversation, now you can play around in this zone. I'm gonna put it here, baddie zone. All right, look at that. This is the baddie zone. So once you're in here, it's not permanent, right? So you're making progress, you're making steps, but you can still get pushed outside of the baddie zone. That is bad. But once you're inside there, now you've got the reins. Now it's time to do some work. Okay, so establish the connection. You make a little bit of chit chat. Say like, oh, hey, what kind of split are you doing? Are you doing like a PPI? You're doing like a full body split? What's your favorite creatine? Oh, my favorite creatine is Rise creatine. Like, oh, really? I take that too. You try to make a little bit of connection, synchronize on that wavelength. You try to get on that same, whatever level they're at, get to that level. If they're over here, if they're calm, you gotta bring it down. You have to look at this as a strategy. It's just like when you're lifting, right? If you're trying to get jacked, you don't just lift weights, right? Yes, you do, but there's a strategy with it. There's sets, there's rep schemes, there's different variations, there's nutrient timing, there's meal timing, there's sleeping, there's all these factors that are that you take into consideration to get jacked. And the same thing when it comes to grabbing a gym baddie, right? So now, once you've established that connection, you've been talking to her, figure out what time she comes in. If you are a person that has been observing the gym baddie for a while, you probably already know. Freaking weirdo. Talk about like, oh, yeah, I usually see you in the evenings. You usually come in here, and then she'll be like, oh yeah, I usually come in after work. That's just getting to know the person, getting to know the baddie. When you get to know the baddie, then you can get in with the baddie, right? Awesome. So, warning on gym baddies, they're very volatile creatures. They can explode at any moment. I'm talking figuratively. These are not ordinary girls, right? These girls have a little bit more test than your average girls. Like, they're lifters. That's why they're at the gym. That's why you're attracted to them. They got the muscles, got a little bit of glutes, maybe a little bit of delts, some biceps, right? Be prepared for a little bit of kickback. There's gonna be a little bit of sass. They're gonna be a little sassy. Some of these girls are gonna be a little bit sassy pies. And that's okay, because you're a lifter. You're a big, strong man with big triceps and a big neck and big traps and a big weave. So you can handle a gym baddie, and that's exactly why you're watching this video. In my opinion, once you have established all of these, this is what I would say. All right, so here are the 3 things that I would say you should establish with your gym baddie once you got that conversation and that connection going. You gotta work on first the pre-workout. So on that first hangout, what are you going to do, right? Are you gonna get a little bit of food beforehand? Are you going to do an activity? Are you gonna pick her up? All that stuff. All this happens before the workout. And then second, most important, is the actual workout itself, right? Workout itself. Now this is the bread and butter What are you gonna do during the workout? At this point, you should have already found information about her split, right? What is the split? What does she do? Did you grab information in that first stage of the connection? What is her pacing, right? How long does she take to work out, right? And also, what does she train? What is terrible handwriting, but still, you get the point. What does she train? Did you figure out what she does? Is she just going to the gym for health? Or is she a powerlifter, a bodybuilder, a strongman, a runner, a skier, a swimmer, whatever? All of this should be intaked in that first initial phase, the connection phase, right? And then finally, after that workout, however long it takes, post. What is gonna happen in the post? Now this is where you seal the deal, right? Now we're talking about food, right? Food? What did you talk about beforehand? Did you figure out what kind of food she likes? Does she like sushi? Does she like Korean barbecue? Does she like pizza? Does she like Mexican? You gotta figure out all of these things before you get to the post, the finale. Because this is where you seal the deal. Now, just like normal baddies, not even just gym baddies, even more than regular baddies, non-gym baddies, they like food. So once you finish that workout and you do all that great stuff, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna eat? What are you gonna eat? Now, once you figure that, if you do this correctly, you're sealing the deal, whatever that could mean to you. You're sealing the baddie. So at the end of the day, the key to the Gym Baddie, in taking all of this information, all of this connection, all the loops, all the squiggles, all of these, all it comes down to is getting her favorite food. Once you figure all that out, boom, key, that is the key. I can't draw a key, but I'm going to draw a heart because the food gets you to the heart. And that is how you're gonna get your Gym Baddie. Now, this is not gonna be 100% set. You can switch some steps, right? You can flip steps. You might even skip a couple things, but the fundamentals are there, right? Pre-workout, during the workout, and the post. That's gonna be your bread and butter once you establish that connection. Now, if you can do all of this within the first day or second day or third day of talking to the Gym Baddie, man, you're a certified killer, man. You deserve that baddie if you can do all this. Try these tactics out. Let me know what you think. Please tell me your results. I'd like to see how all of this, like my methodologies, are working out in the field. Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys have any ideas for the next videos, let me know. Thanks for watching. Peace!